Hi, and welcome to another episode of Business Spotlight. I am Teresa Strong-Myrick with Action Coach Tampa Bay, and I'm here with Jonathan Morey. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself, his business, and how long he's been in the area. So, Jonathan, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, a little bit about myself, just why I'm here, I suppose, is I'm CEO and founder of a branding and advertising agency called Maintain Digital. And we also just recently opened a studio for photography and videography for our clients and for rent called Fluff Studios, downtown St. Pete. A little bit about myself is, I went to school for marketing, got my BBA in marketing. That's also where I met some of my best friends and my wife. And after graduating, I did things pretty quickly with, we got married and we got pregnant right away. And was actually living in Delaware for a while because that's where she was from. And, before that, I wasn't even quite sure where that was.
Right?
Like, where's Delaware? Oh, that's a state? Okay. No, so we lived there for a while. And during that time, I kind of was in the corporate world and I learned a lot about, even more about marketing. And, I taught myself 3 code languages and how to, build websites, learned all about SEO, became a Google partner. All that fun stuff. And funny story is how we appear is when I was in school, my wife and I, we were just dating at the time. And
did you go to school here in Florida, or where'd you go to school?
Nope, we went to a school called Evangel University in Springfield, Missouri.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm originally from Minnesota. So, the land of the cold and the frozen lakes. So yeah. I went to Missouri to try to escape the cold, but it was still pretty cold there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I was like,
I'm a Florida native, so none of that even makes sense to me. If you're trying to escape the cold, you come to Florida, or I don't understand.
You're right. You're right. I thought it might be a little bit warmer in Missouri. It was, but it was still too cold for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were when we were in college, I had one of my best friends, and he actually lives in St. Pete now and has his own business.
Nice.
But we were in college, and he invited us to come to St. Pete because his uncle lived here in St. Pete. And so I was like, hey, that's a great idea, because I was literally like just thinking about proposing. And so we came down here for spring break and we just fell in love with it. We were in the old Northeast area.
Yeah.
And we ended up going to St. Pete Beach a lot and Paso Grill area. And yeah, that's where I proposed.
Awesome.
Yep. And we just fell in love with it.
That's the thing. Once you get here, it's hard not to love it. It really is hard not to love it.
Right. We just fell in love with the city. So we just knew that someday we had to end up here. So
Awesome.
we were in Delaware, and I was working in the corporate world as a marketing coordinator. And we had a little baby and a puppy at the time. And my wife actually was looking for jobs for me in Florida, and found a job as digital strategist at a nonprofit.
Okay.
You might be familiar with it, called Metropolitan Ministries.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're a great organization. They help homeless families get back on their feet. Help a lot of women that went through domestic violence. Great company.
Absolutely.
So back then we still used Skype, and I had my interview through Skype and got an offer, and we packed up the car and drove down here.
Awesome. So now tell me, just a little fast forward, what made you transfer from working for somebody to working for yourself? What was the thing? What was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think at the time, I obviously loved working for Metropolitan Ministries. I did a lot of good work there. But with me and a growing family and me kind of having an entrepreneurial spirit, I was like, hey, what else can I do? And I really just started freelancing a lot. And,
Right.
before I knew it, I just started getting a lot of new clients with doing lead generation, building websites, more of the technical stuff
Hmm.
that I like to do. And, kind of fast forward, I was like, man, I would really love to do this full time. But I knew I needed to put in the work. So I was working,
Yeah.
from, 8 to 5, come home, have dinner with the family, and then work from like 9 to midnight on
Right.
on my own company. And it got, to the point where I was like, okay, I need to make this a thing. And that's where when Maintain was born. So it was right around 2016, 2017 when that happened.
Hmm.
Um, and it just kind of got to the point where we just grew so much where we kind of made the transition to go full time with it. And
That's beautiful.
yeah,
That,
and
that that's beautiful when your part-time or your passion project takes you is so much that it takes you away from your job, like in a good way, where you're making more money on your passion than you were for your job. Like that's where you want to be, right? Because then you know
yes,
that it works.
yep. And
Right?
it's really the most beautiful thing about that is my wife actually, she at that time had a photography business.
Hmm.
She's versed in graphic design, and she was just great at
Nice.
creative. Even some of like the stuff you see behind me is her work,
Hmm.
and she just is brilliant. And I think one of my major pain points working for the nonprofit or in the corporate world, I was really technical and really good at generating leads and revenue for companies. But one of the biggest assets that I was missing was the creative aspect.
Yes.
How can
Hmm.
I tell the story? How can I tell a business's story, um, effectively to be able to help them, grow their passion? And so talking with my wife, I was like, hey, like I would love to create this agency. But the aspect that a lot of agencies are missing is the creative aspect. There's usually, either branding agencies and marketing digital agencies. And so we decided to kind of combine them into a one-stop shop where it's really a happy marriage between creative and
Hmm.
technical. So
Yes,
that's
I
kind
love
of,
it.
yeah. And it's just kind of ironic because that's kind of how it happened within my marriage, creating that aspect of creative and technical coming together. And it really
So lay it
worked.
out. So lay it out for me. So if I'm a business owner and I'm coming to you, what are you going to help me with? What will be the end product when I finish talking to you or working
Yeah.
with you?
Yeah. So what's really different about our agency is we don't really take one off. So we don't, if someone comes
Mhm.
to us and they're like, hey, we just need a new website, or we need help with our organic SEO,
Mhm.
usually we'll be like, hey, that's great. But that's not really what we do. And we refer out to our partners. What we do is we create partnerships with our clients where we're retainer based and we do everything, because we believe that the whole picture needs to be cohesive, from everything from your branding to your colors to your personas to your videos to your content to your SEO to your SEM. And so we kind of
Ah,
built a team, and we have about 15 people working with us at Maintain. And just, a group of, we have a creative team and we have a technical team. And we talk together, and each client of ours gets all the same package where everything's included, from branding videos to ad videos to for high-end photography to website development to content creation,
wow.
SEM, SEO, pretty much everything that you can say. So I always say to our partners, like, hey, we are your marketing team or an extension of your marketing team, because we want to help you grow each and every month. And it's been a great business model because we've had some of our clients for, 5, 6 years now.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Hmm.
That is truly amazing. I love that. So tell me, what has been the biggest obstacle that you've had? Because you started in 2016, so you went through that
Yeah.
time of 2020 COVID and all that stuff. What was your biggest obstacle and how'd you get move through it?
Man, our biggest obstacle. I think, my biggest obstacle was just, just like it is now, it's trying something new for the first time, because
Mhm.
a lot of people, when they jump into business, or creating a business. It's just like, what do I do? So I think, I personally, you could say that I made a lot of mistakes, but I always just kind of took them as what not to do, and what
Yeah.
to do,
Hmm.
So I think
Right.
moving forward, there was times and obstacles where, we were growing so fast that we had to hire more people, and to the point where it's like, you had to manage it, and you had to deal with things that you don't think you have to deal with, like payroll and payroll taxes, and
Yes. Yes.
paying the government, paying the state. And it's just like a lot of stuff that I wasn't used to at first. So
Hmm.
I think, like, for me, that was probably my biggest obstacle, just because I hate dealing with that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Luckily, I try to keep a lot of stuff in the family, and ended up hiring my big sister, to kind of take care of some of that stuff for me. So she was a huge help in helping us keep on track with, making sure that we're managing payroll, our finances, that, we're being held accountable for kind of what we're doing for ourselves and for our clients and for our
Right.
employees. She kind of came in and helped us, create programs for, healthcare benefits, and,
Mm.
maternity leave, and all sorts of stuff that was like, it was,
Wow.
just like something that I just didn't get or understand.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so I think, like, when we run into those obstacles, I just, if it's not my strength, I always try to find the right people to help.
Right, because it's a strength for someone. You just have to find that someone to come in, because it's not an obstacle for them at all. It's not a problem. It's their wheelhouse. Is what they love doing. So we just have to make sure that we're giving those people their opportunities to shine. Right.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
at first that was kind of tough for me, because I've always been like, oh, I can do it. I can figure it out.
Yeah.
And it was tough to learn delegation and trying to find people, because I just wanted it done a certain way. But I would have to say, like, I'm thankful that I learned, how to delegate, and I'm thankful that I learned how to find the correct people. Um, you
Absolutely.
know, and one of the biggest
Yeah.
things I learned is, it's what's really important is, the people you work with, and the people you hire, and creating an amazing culture.
Oh, you hit it right on the head. Absolutely. Because the culture is what keeps them. The culture
Exactly.
and everyone working together for the common goal is just, it's the magic in it all, you
Yes,
know?
yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Culture is a huge part of our business. We have a culture
Wonderful.
guide. We stick to it. And I always tell our employees and all our staff, I say, hey, our number one thing for you and for this company, your number one focus is your mental health. Um, I
Yes, sir.
say, if you're having a hard time, if you're going through something, that's what life is. You have ups and downs, not just
Yes.
in business, but in your personal life. And we just cherish everybody that we work with. So that's number one. If you need to take a day, you need to take a few days, you need to take an hour, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're okay. And we want to help you. And so that's kind of like our
Absolutely.
number one thing. And just always keeping positivity in the workplace.
Yes.
No sort of gossip or bad talking
Mhm.
about clients or
Right.
people in the community. It's all just, positive vibes, and just helping our employees
Yeah.
and our clients grow.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for spending time with us today and sharing your business and your passion. Is there anything that you have coming up that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so one
Oh,
of the
hey.
one of the newest things is, we just opened up a studio, downtown St. Pete, and it's called Fluff Studios. And kind of the story behind that is, we had some clients early on where they didn't really understand why they needed the creative, and
Hmm.
someone said, "Why do we need all the fluff?" Uh, and
Ah,
we're like, we'll tell you why you need the fluff. And so that kind of stuck with us. And so that's
love it.
where Fluff Studios was born. And we haven't done any sort of grand opening yet, but we are open, and that's going to be coming up soon. And so we're really excited about that. So I'm sure you'll hear more, about what we're
Awesome.
doing. But it's great because we utilize our studio not just for our clients, but for businesses in the area to be able to rent out. So it's a space where you can go on the website, you can book time. Any photographer, any videographer, any sort of business that wants to come in and use our studio. It's open to the public. And yeah, we just want it to be a really fun, creative space,
Awesome.
for students, for interns. One of the things that I just did is I joined the board of directors at USF on the AMA Marketing
Okay.
Association. And it's just amazing to see all the students and their passion for marketing and into this
Yeah.
business. Just being able to help them, get into this, this industry. So
Right.
it's been fun.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check out your studio. I'm excited about that. That's a great opportunity for small businesses as well. So yay. So
Mhm.
thank you again for joining us. This has been a pleasure. I'm so glad I was able to meet and talk to you and get to know more about your business. Um, so tell us where we can reach you. Let's not forget
Yeah,
that part.
yeah, of course. If you're looking for some help in marketing, you can go to maintaindigital.com. You can find us there. If you're interested in finding more about the studio or booking time at the studio, you just go to fluff.studios, and that's where you can find us.
Awesome. And I'll have all your information below the video so everyone can connect with you. Thank you again. You have a wonderful day. And thank you guys again for watching another episode. I'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.